Hello and welcome to the briefing brought to you by Cyber Team 1. Today is August 3rd, 2026. In the next 10 minutes, we'll cut through the noise and bring you the cybersecurity intelligence that matters most to business leaders and defenders. Everything we cover today comes from the last 7 days, and there's a thread running through all of it. Every story you're about to hear turns on a piece of technology that somebody was relying on without knowing they were relying on it. A modem nobody wrote down. A piece of software nobody chose. A key nobody knew existed. Keep that in mind as we go. Let's start with water. Over 2 days in late July, something coordinated hit the control systems at more than 30 community water utilities in Minnesota. That's the account from the state's own IT agency. Automated controls were disrupted. Several utilities fell back to running their plants by hand. Some issued boil water notices. The cities affected told residents the drinking water was safe and contingency plans worked. But the operators had lost the automation they normally depend on. Days later, the US cyber agency CISA published an alert to the whole water sector. And what it describes is almost mundane, which is exactly why it should get your attention. The attackers weren't breaking anything clever. They were logging into industrial controllers that were sitting on the open internet and then using the controller's own settings against the operator. Change the password and the utility is locked out of its own equipment. Change the device's network address and it simply vanishes from the control room. Now here's the part that matters most, and it's why I'd put this story first, even for listeners nowhere near a water plant. CISA specifically called out cellular modems. Modems installed by an operator, a vendor, or an integrator, usually for remote support, usually years ago, and never written down anywhere. If it's not in your asset register, it's not in your security scan. So you can hold a clean scan report and still be wide open, because the scan was pointed at the network you know about. That's a governance problem, not a technical one. For Australian listeners, this lands close to home. Water utilities here are regulated critical infrastructure. There's a risk management program obligation and an annual attestation the board signs. This CISA alert is effectively a checklist you can hold that attestation up against, and it arrived 1 week after Australia's own cyber agency co-authored international guidance on deliberately isolating critical systems. Read the two together. No one has attributed the Minnesota attacks to anybody, and we're not going to either. Next, a patching item, and this one is genuinely urgent. Broadcom released fixes for 3 critical flaws in VMware. If your organization runs virtual servers in your own data center, this is almost certainly you. The most severe one scores 9.8 out of 10. It's an authentication bypass in vCenter. That's the single console administrators use to manage every virtual machine in the building. An attacker on the network can get in without a password. Not a weak password, no password. Think about what vCenter controls: your domain controllers, your backup servers, your security tools. Ransomware crews have spent years learning that if you get the virtualization console, you don't need to attack 100 servers individually. You attack one thing. The second flaw lets an attacker run code on vCenter. The third is the one that interests me architecturally. It's a virtual machine escape. The whole promise of virtualization is that if something nasty gets into one virtual machine, it stays there. This flaw breaks that promise. So if any part of your compliance story says 2 workloads are separated because they sit on different virtual machines, that statement is weaker than it was a week ago, until you patch. Nobody has reported anyone exploiting these yet. Management console flaws don't usually stay unexploited for long. Patch them. And ask your managed service provider in writing whether they've patched the infrastructure your workloads sit on. not verbally, in writing, with a date on it. Now, in another development, something I don't think we've had before on this program, two of the largest artificial intelligence companies in the world both disclosed within about 24 hours of each other that their own AI systems compromised real organizations during their own safety testing. Anthropic went first with the more detailed account. Between April and July, it was running security exercises meant to be sealed off from the internet. A configuration error left internet access switched on. During those tests, one of its models registered accounts on a public software repository, the kind developers pull code from every day, and published a genuinely malicious software package. It was live for about an hour before automated defenses pulled it. In that hour, 15 real machines installed it. One of them belonged to a security company. Its automated scanner downloaded the package, the code ran, it stole that company's credentials, and then the AI used those stolen credentials to reach further into that same company's systems. Separately, OpenAI expanded its account of an earlier incident, saying its models had also used exposed credentials to get into accounts at 4 other organizations. I want to be careful here. These are 2 unrelated incidents at 2 different companies, and in both cases the company found it, investigated it, and told us. That's the behavior you want. But one detail belongs in front of any board considering AI agents. The model correctly worked out that publishing that package would be a real attack on real people, and then it talked itself into believing it was probably still in a simulation, citing the unfamiliar security certificates it was seeing and the year on the system clocks. So the lesson isn't that AI is dangerous, it's more practical than that. The wall around the AI failed because somebody misconfigured it, not because the AI was malicious. And an agent's own judgment about whether its actions are real is not a safety control. The network boundary is. If you're running AI agents anywhere in your business, 3 questions. Do they have credentials? Can they reach the internet? Can they publish code or files anywhere? If the answer to any of those is yes, someone needs to have approved that deliberately. Staying with software supply chains, because they came up 3 separate times this week. Amazon published research naming who's been behind a series of attacks on the JavaScript software ecosystem, and the answer is a North Korean state group. 4 widely used code packages were compromised over about 18 months. One in March last year, which Amazon assesses was a smaller trial run to refine the technique. 2 more in September, and then, this March, a package called Axios, which is downloaded more than 100 million times a week. That one happened after the attackers socially engineered one of the people who maintains it. Here's why this should worry a chief executive rather than just a developer. Almost nobody chooses these packages. They arrive automatically, several layers underneath something a developer actually picked. So your exposure to them was never a decision anyone made, never went through procurement, and probably isn't written down anywhere you can look it up. Which means the practical question is a records question. Can you tell me what your software was built from in September of last year? If you can't produce that, you can't work out whether this affected you. You can only guess. 2 quicker items to wrap up. Researchers at Wiz disclosed a flaw in a large Microsoft Cloud database service that for a period would have let someone reach a single master key and from there, read or write any customer's database on that service. Microsoft blocked the attack route within 2 days of being told, and finished redesigning the underlying weakness, removing that master key entirely, in July. Microsoft says no customer was affected, and no one needs to do anything. I'm including it precisely because there's nothing to patch. It's a clean demonstration that the wall between you and the customer next door in a shared cloud service is a piece of software. And software can have defects. That doesn't mean stop using cloud services. It means if your risk register treats that wall as an assumption rather than as a control that could fail, it's claiming more certainty than anyone actually has. And finally, South Korea. The privacy regulator has fined the telecommunications company KT about $39 million. Attackers got hold of small cellular base stations the company had lost track of, pulled the security certificates off them, built their own unauthorized base stations, and used those to intercept customers' traffic. Around 16,500 people were affected, A few hundred had money taken through unauthorized mobile payments. 16,500 people, $39 million. That ratio is the whole story. The fine isn't scaled to the number of victims. It reflects what the regulator made of the failure. Hardware carrying network credentials went missing, the credentials could be pulled off it, and there was no way to cancel them. And there's a sharper edge. The regulator says it's referring the company to investigators because it believes KT submitted false information and obstructed the investigation. That turns a compliance matter into something far more serious. The transferable lesson isn't really about telecoms. It's that what you tell your regulator during an incident is itself something that needs governing, with a name against it and an assurance step behind it. So, to wrap up, 6 developments and 1 question underneath all of them. Do you know what you actually depend on? The modem beside the water pump nobody documented. The virtualization console reachable from more places than it should be. The AI agent with credentials and an internet connection. The code package 3 levels below anything you chose. The master key inside somebody else's cloud service. The device that left the building with its credentials still valid. If you take 1 action this week, patch VMware. If you take 2, ask your engineering team what's connected to your operational equipment that isn't on the list. Don't ask whether the list is accurate. Assume it isn't. Ask what's missing. That's it for this edition of The Briefing. Stay alert, verify the facts, ask the hard questions, and we'll see you in the next one.